Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to our first community demo of the Open Web Foundry. I'm just going to go over some house rules, and then we'll go over the structure of the event and everything that's going to happen. And yeah, we got Sam and Zach here as well, so we're ready to rock and roll. So basically, first things first, we're going to have many presenters coming up during this time. So it'll be including Sam, the ArGo team, some of our alumni that was in our previous incubator program, and then 5 new projects. Please, if you're not presenting, don't come onto the stage. I'll call each person up when it's your turn to present, and then spotlight you. So like me, Sam, and Zach are doing right now, so everyone in the room can see your audio and video. And then once you're presenting, just exit the stage and go back into the audience. But I'll call you, and we'll make sure that it runs smoothly. At the end, we're going to have like a Q&A period where anyone can type anything into the chat, and then we're going to try to answer your questions. And then at the end, I mean, you guys can stay in the space as long as you like as well. So we're going to have like a mingle kind of thing. There's another room with a lounge with tables that are labeled. So you can kind of talk to any of the projects that you thought were interesting. You can talk to Sam and Zach or anyone on the Arweave team. And yeah, you stay as long as you like as well. But yeah, I hope that all makes sense. So first things first, Sam, do you want to lead us off kind of talking about some of the most interesting companies not being built on Arweave right now and give everyone an idea?
Yeah, for sure. But do I have to go here, or does it just work?
If you share your screen, we can all see it, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so hey everyone. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good time to, can someone say that they can actually see my screen so we don't get a repeat of last week?
They can't talk to you, but you could talk to them.
You can see my screen though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, yeah, so I think now is a great time as you guys have been getting used to some of the tools in the system or in the network, and also talking to some of the other founders and seeing what's possible. Now's a great time to go through what some of the open opportunities are. So I split this into 2 sides. There's a side for people that want to build applications on top of the system, and there's also an infrastructure side. Infrastructure is super valuable and useful, but it typically takes a different kind of founder. So if you're not so interested perhaps in UI design, that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, if you're more interested in, not so interested in UI design, that kind of stuff, then you might be more interested in the infrastructure section that I'll get to in a moment. But first, I figure we go through some of the basic applications that really should be built on top of the Arweave ecosystem, but we don't actually have any good versions of right now. I think these are like the low-hanging fruit that provide a lot of value for not necessarily a huge amount of complex building and conceptual work, perhaps. So PermaSnap. One of the obvious things to use the Arweave for is building ways to essentially, report from areas where information is potentially censored. Places like, protests, that kind of thing, in countries where the internet access is not consistent, particularly when the regime is under threat. Well, something like a PermaSnap, which is the exact opposite of Snapchat, where you are allowed to take photos permanently, would be really valuable in those areas. Ross, who actually works with the Arweave team sometimes, worked on a version of this. So there is a kind of alpha out there, but nobody's taken it forward and turned it into a real startup. I think that could be a pretty valuable avenue. Another is a universal awareness aggregator. So if you're not aware of this term, universal awareness is this kind of slightly strange, frankly, movement on the internet to aggregate signals from all over the world essentially make maps, typically, and timelines that show you everything that is happening in a location at a certain period. This is particularly obviously useful during moments of political unrest in countries, that kind of thing. Or for example, when the COVID-19 pandemic was first starting and it was spreading around the world, these universal awareness maps were a really valuable way of keeping track of what was happening all across the world. I think that given that the mission of Arweave really is to build this like time capsule of all of history, taken in real time and then stored forever, yeah, there's an obvious match to be made here between attaching the universal awareness aggregation systems that already exist to Arweave's permanent storage. One of these would be, for example, SnapMaps. So SnapMaps is this website you can go to, and it shows you all of the live streams available on the web, basically. It's an aggregator of those. And then you can just click on them and you can view what is happening. But during places where, for example, protests are happening, it would be really valuable if we could just suck all of the information out of these live streams of protests and put them onto the PermaWeb where they can't be censored or forgotten. Yeah, anywhere really where events of international importance are happening, it would be valuable to be able to point one of these systems at that and then suck all the information out and put it onto the Arweave live, so that you can trust that that information has not been tampered with after the fact. So I think this could be really valuable. Another interesting thing that could come from that is that actually there might now be an incentive to run these machines, because you could use Koi, which is essentially an attention reward system for PermaWeb hosted data, to bet that the information that you're storing will receive attention later, and then to receive a reward when it does so. This could be really interesting. You should speak to Al, the founder of Koi, who I assume is around somewhere in the auditorium afterwards, if you're interested in that. So another one is pretty basic. It's decentralized block explorers. All of the block explorers in the crypto ecosystem right now are actually just running on centralized servers. There's a project called Kive starting up on the network now, which is essentially an aggregator of information from blockchains. And so they've already integrated Polkadot, Algorand, sorry, not Algorand, Solana, Scale, a few others, and there's many, many more to come. And all of that information is available in a unified format, which is really interesting because it means you can just scrape that information out of GraphQL and have it rendered, in a web application just like a normal block explorer. But the thing is actually decentralized and so robust and permanent. I think this could be valuable. And frankly, I would love to see a decentralized block explorer for Arweave. One question about this is, well, how would you then have a business model to back it? Like, everything so far very clear that you can monetize it one way or another, just by taking a tip on the data transactions, for example, or some other kind of tipping mechanism as people use the application. Here, it's not quite so clear. What I would maybe advocate for is some kind of what we're calling a burning auction. So where you have some kind of ad spot on your website, say, and then you are, essentially people bid on a slot for a period of time. So like a month, you have these auctions, and the person that bids the most, their tokens are burnt, but they get to keep that slot, and so they get to display whatever banner they want for a period of time. This could be helpful because obviously it creates a deflationary asset. As long as you use the asset for something else as well, then it should have some reasonable value capture mechanisms. But I'm happy to talk to anyone that's interested in this after the call, if you'd like. One that I'm really excited about, and I think is just so obvious, but yet no one has actually pursued, is a decentralized Wikipedia. So obviously, Arweave is an amazing place to put knowledge, but there's so much you can do with incentivizing the curation of truthful knowledge, you could say, which actually we haven't really explored very much in the ecosystem yet. This is quite complicated, and I'm happy to get into some of the details if you want to, if you DM me on Discord, or if we catch up after this call. But there's lots of ways that you can do that. So you want to reward people for providing truthy information, so true information, and also just have like a collection of knowledge on the PermaWeb that can't be deleted or lost. You can trivially, of course, also, integrate, or another way of less politely putting it is vampire attack Wikipedia and just copy across all of the information so that you use that as your base data set. That would also work. I think there's really obvious opportunities here that could be really cool, particularly when you get to this idea of, can you reward people with NFTs and that sort of thing, which was actually Woombash's idea. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that name correctly, but it's one of the early community members, actually built, I think, the first Arweave PermaWeb app about 2.5 years ago. which was a Weave Watcher. You can just watch all the data being put on the network. But yes, he had this idea for how you could essentially give people rewards in form of NFTs for contributing to the knowledge space, basically. It's pretty interesting. I think there's a lot of different avenues to explore there. Another one, and actually someone from the ecosystem just this week, Chase, is starting to address this, I think. So that's pretty cool. But news agencies with better incentives. Like, there's a fundamental problem in society right now that essentially the incentives for journalists, no matter how good the journalists are, no matter how much the journalists want to write good content and inform the public and all the rest of it, it doesn't really matter, unfortunately, because the incentive for journalists is to get clicks. That is just like hard, raw numbers. And this was exemplified really well this week, I think, unfortunately, by some analysis someone did. It's actually quite interesting about how the New York Times uses A/B testing on its headlines. So what they found, the good news, is that most headlines aren't A/B tested, but something around 40%, I think, are. Basic principle here is you just like write a bunch of headlines and you see which ones get the most clicks, and after an hour you just make that the headline, which sort of portrays the really disappointing level of would you say the intensity of the incentives that the news agencies are under, which is leading them to exhibit behavior which is not in the best interest of informing people, but in the best interest of getting the most clicks. And it's completely understandable. And I think the people working in these agencies really do want to portray the truth as best they can, or most of the time at least. But the fact is that they live in a system whereby they're just incentivized by getting ad revenue. I think we can do better than that. And Chase had some really interesting ideas about how you can, again, this comes down to basically betting on the truth. So how can you make markets where people are rewarded for saying something that is truthful in the past, in the future? There's also interesting ways you can do this. One of them that I've been thinking about a lot is a form of, I guess, perpetual swap, basically. So you can take a side of the market, and then over time, the side that is most believed in takes a portion of the side that is less believed in, proportionately to the difference. Something like this. We, again, can get into the incentives. It's actually, I think, similar to the decentralized Wikipedia opportunity. Similar concepts going on there. But we can get into this afterwards. It's pretty complicated, I would say. But there's some really, really great opportunities to completely flip the incentives so that people that say the truth early are rewarded for it financially. And I think if we can do that, we can potentially get society back to a point where people are saying the truth about things. Hopefully. All right. Infrastructure. So decentralized bundling networks. When we think about Arweave scaling, there's two sides with this. And I think there's opportunities for people in both sides. So the first is that when you, let's say, store data on the Arweave network, what you can do is you can bundle those data entries together into meta transactions, what would be called meta transactions on Ethereum, but we just call them bundles. And then you can submit a bundle to the network as one transaction. And this is interesting because Arweave blocks actually don't have like super large number of transactions per block. We can increase that number, I think. But that's not really the point. What the point is that we're trying to head for is a sort of scaling system where actually having large numbers of transactions on chain really isn't necessary. And one of the ways you do this is by taking many, many data entries, bundling them up into a single transaction and sending that to the network. So some of you, I think, will already be doing this in your applications. If you, for example, want to write thousands of files into the network at once, this is the way of doing it. The way it works at the moment is that you run the bundler. So either like locally on the client, you're saying, okay, let's get all of the data entries together that we want to write in the next 5 seconds or whatever it is. Sorry, is there any chance we can mute whatever the paper rustling is, please? Okay, thank you. So you grab together all of the data entries that you're going to put in some period of time. You batch them, basically, and then you dispatch the bundle rather than the data entries to the network. This is extremely effective. It scales to essentially arbitrary sizes. You can fit really millions or even billions of data entries into the same, actually trillions, I'm sure, of data entries into the same transaction if you want. The problem then comes down to indexing speed. So how quickly you'll actually get access to those, because of course that data needs to be seeded and then indexed by the gateways. So that would be the problem there. But in general, this system just works. You can, however, improve on it, I think, by allowing people to bundle data entries with one another. So each data entry is signed by the user or the uploader. And if that user were to have an account with a bundling service, say, you could then aggregate transactions or sub-transactions, data entries from many different people and bundle them into the same transaction and dispatch that to the network at once. And then you're essentially doing the same batching process, but instead of on a client basis, which has sort of limited scaling, you can put it in the hands of the entire, or you can make it essentially across the entire network at once. And that has some really interesting other advantages. Like, for example, you can allow people to pay in whatever, whatever currency is best for them. So they can have an account with you, the bundling service. They say they deposit $5, say, and now you give them $5 worth of storage. And every time you receive a data entry from them, which you bundle and then send to the network, you just subtract that from their from their balance with you. You just keep this in the database. Ideally, you would do some kind of on-chain accounting for this as well, but that gets a little bit more complicated. But it would be helpful because the idea here is to take that bundling service and then turn it into a decentralized network of bundlers. And those bundlers can all test each other using the sort of community compute architecture which Verto has pioneered, I would say. Yes, they can all test each other. And then if they are not acting appropriately, you just slash the stake. And so if they are required, for example, to have a stake higher than the amount of tokens that are deposited with them at any period of time, the DAO, as long as it can test, so the community, as long as it can test the correct functioning of the gateway, sorry, not gateway, the correct functioning of the bundler, then it can slash the stake if there seem to be, like stealing funds from the users and that kind of thing. So I think this would be very helpful for the development of the network as we scale to have like very large numbers of pieces of data added to the network at any single point in time. It is the way of doing data storage scaling. On the other side of things, when you want to move, so data entries only work for storing data. In terms of layer 2 scaling of moving tokens around the network, I think what we'll end up with is something like R banks that use a proof of reserves protocol. So you can look at Dan Benet's work in this area, which was really good, actually 2014, 2015, quite a while ago. But the academic papers are already there. What you basically want is the same kind of idea. You leave your tokens with someone and they have some kind of stake. And then you can trace the tokens. You can prove that the person has the tokens that they need in order to settle essentially the accounts of their clients. Yes, you can prove that they have those tokens, and if they don't, then you slash the stake. And if you can build a network around this, then you can essentially do something like Lightning on Bitcoin is a similar concept. Lots of similar concepts coming, or similar ideas coming up with, optimistic layer 2 rollups and the likes on Ethereum, this type of thing. This is how we will scale value transfer in terms of Arweave tokens at the, when the network gets large enough. So I think there's an opportunity there for someone to build a profit sharing community around a decentralized version of one of these RBank networks, which has proof of reserves protocols inside and staking. That means you can essentially make sure the whole thing is safe. Okay, right. This one's a really interesting one. Generalized COI architecture Smartweave upgrades. Not a great PR phrase, I wouldn't say. But the basic idea here is that COI have cottoned on something really interesting. So Smartweave transactions right now have to be base level Arweave transactions. And that's so that the tags of those transactions are distributed to everyone in the Arweave network. And this means that there will never be this question that arises essentially when the data is seeded later and wasn't included in the chain earlier, which can happen for Arweave data, but it doesn't happen for Arweave tags. And so what Smartweave will do when you ask it to calculate the current state of things, it will just go through the tags of all of those transactions. And so it can never be in this situation where a transaction is retrospectively added in the middle of the chain along a contract execution. And that's how it has to be at the moment. But that obviously limits scalability. What Koi has noticed is, okay, well, that is true. But what if we have people in the inside the DAO, in the compute cluster in some form, that are running this contract? What if people inside here would attest for the availability of a transaction, so the availability of the data inside a transaction, and be potentially slashed by the other participants in the DAO if their attestation is wrong? So basically, you're putting the proof of seeding on a person inside your community. And this is pretty powerful, because once you have this, then as long as you can slash the person's stake, and so there's effective financial security, and this is the detail that needs to be sort of worked out, like what are the effective financial security stakes required. But as long as you can do that, then you can ingest millions or even potentially billions of interactions with smart contracts inside the same transaction on the main network. And that means, of course, that you essentially have arbitrarily scalable smart contracting, as long as the financial security requirements of those interactions does not exceed the financial security provided by the person that is attesting that they, for example, see the data, or the data is there in the network, it has been seeded. So happy to get into this one in more detail afterwards if people want. But yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting area, and you could plausibly essentially expand this into a profit sharing community on top of Arweave, where people can use this functionality inside their smart contracts by using a library or something like this, and then pull on a shared financial security pool for just this service. So this service would then be able to share that financial security across all of the smart contracts, which is a much better system than doing it one by one. Okay, thanks everyone. That's just a few, I think, of the interesting areas that people can take up for building on top of the network. But there's many, many more. Happy to chat afterwards. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Sam. That was really good. I hope that gave anybody who might be struggling to think of an idea some inspiration for what they want to do with this current Foundry. So the next guys we're going to have up is a project that we had in our last incubator that we invested in called ArGo. So if you guys want to make it to the stage, I'll spotlight you. And then also when you're presenting, please make sure to hide the little pop-up that comes that when Gather is telling you that you're sharing your screen, just so it isn't blocking the presentation. And I'll just spotlight you guys now. Hope you're ready. Perfect. Go ahead, guys.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Sam and everyone. How are you guys? Is my voice audible now?
Yeah. You're I can hear you. You guys are good to go.
Awesome. So basically, we wanted to inform the community what we are working on, and the second thing is also we wanted to give out something to our community itself, the entire Arweave ecosystem itself. So as far as the ArGo concerned, ArGo means we as a team, we are working on building a platform on over Arweave, which is going to be used, or it can be used to deploy any of the web application over the Arweave network, which means we'll be becoming the platform to deploy any of the web applications on the Arweave ecosystem altogether. I don't have a presentation now, Jason now. So what I'll do is I'll just walk you through what our plans are and how we are planning to incentivize our community now. So coming to the ArGo, right? So there is a bounty which we will be running, and for those bounties, you can always just hop on our server and on the Discord side, just go and have a look there. We'll be posting it after this call. What will be the criteria and how exactly you guys are going to fit in. and you can go ahead and do the bounty there as well. The second thing is, which I wanted to announce here, is people who are participating in the Open Web Foundry, each and every one, if you have any web applications which you want to deploy, since we are also building, we are also founders, we are also testing out our entire platform now. We will be very happy to support you guys in deploying your web applications using ArGo. And for us, will be, as of now, there is a 0.1 AR which you required to go and do the site deployment on the ArGo. But for the Open Web Foundry, we'll be making sure whosoever logs in from the founder network, they'll be getting free access to the ArGo. They can go ahead, they can deploy any of the web applications. The only thing which you guys have to do is just drop us a message on our Discord server. Say, hey, you know what? We are the participant of Open Web Foundry. Could you please just give the access? And what we'll do is, like, we'll fill your wallet, which we are maintaining our auction wallet for you guys. You can go ahead and do that. And regarding the bounty, it is also, we want to distribute some of the profits which we are making. So we wanted to make sure you guys also take the participate. So the bounty amount which we are looking to offer now, it is around 2K, which is 2,000 USD. And what we'll be doing is all those criteria, how you can go ahead and do the claim. You can go, you can hop our channel after this call. We'll be posting out there. Yeah, so this is all about us, and this is what we are looking to offer you guys.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, guys. I'll unspotlight you, and then you guys can hop off and go back into the audience. Yeah, great. Thanks. Just get you guys unspotlighted, and then now we're gonna go into some of the new guys. So, hey, Primus, there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna spotlight you here, and then yeah, you can take it away. You are spotlighted. You can share your screen on the little tab.
Hey, JC, I'm not sure I can hear you.
You can't hear me? Hello? We can hear you. We can hear you, so you're good to go.
Kevin, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, but not JC.
Oh, okay.
nice.
Yeah, that happens together sometimes. Okay. Yeah, Jesse was just saying that you're good to go. You can share your screen.
Perfect. So hello, everyone. So I'm going to present you Pianity. So we started the hackathon like everyone like last week. And we are very motivated into making the music industry more fair with the artists, but also with the fans. So the idea of Pianity is a musician can go on the platform and he can upload its tracks and make them unique as an NFT and forever. So for musicians, what we want to enable is solidarity between them, but also a new source of revenue for them and of recurring revenue. And for fans, we want to enable them to like support the artist more than they are able to right now, which is maybe just with a subscription on Spotify, you know. So we want to allow them to support their fan, but also actually to invest in them and get rewarded if they spotted an artist early on. So the idea is the musicians will upload their music as an NFT on the platform. It will go in an auction, and then the fans will be able to buy this NFT and sell them later on a secondary market. And we want to introduce solidarity between everyone who owns an NFT or who owns our token, so that they will get a percentage of every transaction that happens on Pianity. So we already started with the artists. So we already have more than 15 artists that want to join the platform at its launch. And here you have an highlight of 7 of them. Most of them have a pretty large audience and like thousands of followers. So we are quite confident that it will drain a lot of traffic on our platform when we launch it. And we also started the product. So the MVP is in progress. We want to launch actually on the week of the 22nd. So it's gonna be like quite similar to like the NFT platform you can see on like Super Rare and stuff like this. So very light with only the tracks, with like an audio bar at the bottom, so that you can listen to your music, and then of course the auction part. So we already released the landing page for the artists, so that they can already register. You can take a look if you want to, and you have a list of the techno. What we'd like is actually to allow people to buy NFTs with Visa cards. So we'll try to use Stripe. We are in discussion with them to integrate it. And the team, we are 6 right now. Most of us have a tech background. So Eric and Felix are in charge of the front end, Eyal and Lancelot of the back end, and myself, I'm writing the smart contract. And Simon is the one actually who managed to get so many artists interested in the platform. So yeah, basically that's it. Actually, right now, since we are beginners, we are actually looking for people who would like to review our codes and our smart contracts. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm Caprimis on Discord, and you can also send us an email. Thanks.
Can you hear me? I guess not, he can't hear me. But yeah, that was really good. That was great. Anyone wants to support Kevin? Yeah, you got all his information there in the Discord. Yeah, the next one we have up is Lucky R. So if you want to hop up on here, and then we can hear from you. Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to get you spotlighted. One moment. Not yet, just me, but I'm gonna. Now you're spotlighted. Okay.
Well, first, I'm very happy to be here. This is a great opportunity to share with the community. And let me share my screen. Wait a second. I have a little presentation, so this is gonna be quick. Don't worry, guys. Our project is called Wizdom Wizards. We are making a decentralized learning management system, and I'm going to talk to you about this. Our members, it's only my brother and I at the moment. I'm the developer, and my brother is more specialized in making the marketing and that kind of stuff. And we are building a decentralized learning management system. If you have used Moodle before, then you already know what is a LMS. Almost all universities in the world uses Moodle to help their professors to share their content to the students. And it's a great platform, but it's like a Web 2.0. It's like very old technology, and I think that we can make something better. So we want to build a bridge between educators and students that allows an educator to always preserve control over his content. The educational content will always be preserved on the PermaWeb. We want to do this because currently we have platforms like Udemy, but if you upload a video to Udemy, they put a little watermark on your video, and your content is not your content anymore at the moment that you upload your files to a private server. So this is a big deal, and we want to fight that back using Arweave technology. So one of our questions that we personally have is that if we are building like an Udemy killer, maybe we're building something like that. We want to build this around a PST to share, obviously, the gains. And we are creating these rules. So if you have any comment about this, we will be very grateful to hear you. In Wizdom Wizards, the teachers can set a price for their courses. You can create a course in our platform, and you can set a price in Winston, and we charge a 10% fee on any student that purchase the course. So if you make a lot of selling, all the community is gonna be happy because of that. And Also, students can tip teachers, and a 10% is charged also, and is distributed to the PST holders. So we want to charge, like, not the teachers and professors, we want to charge the students by any interaction that they make to the content generated by the professors. And maybe we can charge another small fee anytime that we generate a course completion certificate. In platforms like edX and Udemy, you get a final certificate if you pass the course, right? But maybe we can offer something like an NFT, and this certificate will be very special and very valuable. And it's possible to make something like this, I guess. At this point, we have a lot of work done. First, we created our first Smartweave contracts. So we are already working on a prototype. And we also have a first beta version of our D app. I have the link here, and I'm going to show you how this looks. I have our demo here. This is the homepage, and this is the URL. Our site is hosted on IPFS, but it's gonna be deployed to Arweave, maybe using ArGo, I guess. And we developed this platform using only Angular and Smartweave. So we want to make something totally decentralized. We don't want to have like a private server that makes some stuff. We want to make this all on Arweave. And our next step currently is to improve our prototype. This only makes some basic stuff. Let me give you a quick tour. So here's the homepage, how it works. You can create courses, you can join other courses created, and you can support the community by earning or by buying these PST tokens. Maybe we can award some of our professors with PST tokens, and in that way we can make our professors to earn more money, like a passive income. And we have this dashboard. Let me go out here from here. I will show you how this works, but using the plugin. Give me a second. Here it is. So if you want to log in this platform, just click here, login, and you have like 3 options. You can upload your private key file. This is not recommended because security. In the future, maybe we will have more extensions like ArConnect, where you can use ArConnect like you usually use MetaMask. Just click here, and the app will connect directly to your wallet. So here we're loading the user info. Just give it a few seconds, and there it is. In the dashboard, we show to the user his balance. Here we have like very 0.028 R. And we show the last transaction ID because it's very important to help our users to know in which step is their transaction, because all their interactions is going to be through the Arweave chain. So it's very easy to get, let's see, just so we decide to display this information to help our users to not get lost here. Here we can show, we show the enrolled courses, the complete courses, the evaluated courses, and the courses that the user has created in our platform. If you want to create a new course, you just click here, create a new course, and just fill the form, like it can be any name, course, a description, an image, and you can choose from a list of subjects like chemistry, communication, computer science, I don't know, and you can set a price for your course, like, I don't know, 10,000 rings. You can just click on the save button, and the transaction is going to be processed by the network, and this usually takes like from 2 minutes to a little bit more. And that's why we decide to display the transaction information, because this time can be a little problematic for users, especially if they are new to this kind of technologies. But if you are very used to work with this kind of DApps, maybe it's not a big problem. Here we have my user has 3 courses created, and you can see the list of other courses here from this little option. Click on the courses button, and as you can see, these platforms looks very similar to Google. Is because we are using Material, and that's only that's available for many frameworks, but is especially useful in Angular. And here we have our list of subjects and a few courses that we have here, like in communication, we have 2 courses, and that's mainly the idea. We want to have like something like an Udemy platform, but decentralized. And if you want to help us, you are totally invited. We have a Discord channel, and you can send me a message on Discord too. I will be very happy to hear from you. And that's it.
Wow, that's incredible. That's so much progress in so little time. I left a couple of comments in the chat about how you might want to like optimistically serve data and that kind of thing. But that's just amazing. Like, that's really incredible. Congratulations. All right.
Yeah, very, very cool, guys. I'm really happy to see these projects that are coming up. 40, so you are up next. So if you want to come up onto the stage, and if Lucky, if you can come down from the stage and go into the audience.
Yeah, Lucky, your screen is still shared, by the way. You just need to press that. There we go.
And 40, I'm gonna put you on the spotlight in a second. Okay, you're now being spotlighted, 40. You can begin with your presentation. I think you're muted though, so I'm not sure if you're talking right now. Oh, I can't hear you, unfortunately.
I can't either this time.
Yeah, can you say something again? If not, we can go to the next one, and then we could get this resolved. Okay, that's unfortunate. 40, why don't you go back into the audience and work on your audio, and then I'll just call up the next person. I hope Dumbfounder, you're ready. Thanks, 40. On Spotlight. And Dumbfounder, are you? There you are. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna put you on the spotlight. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spotlight, and then yeah, go ahead whenever you're ready. You're now spotlighted.
Excellent. Thank you. Let me share my screen here. Everybody see my screen? Oh, looks like it's showing up. Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, I'm Crystalline, here to present to you Darkblock.io. Next page. Okay. So people are paying real money for digital art for the first time. Maybe you guys have noticed a lot of money being spent yesterday on a single piece of artwork, $69 million. That is just plain insane. It's gone from zero to that in a matter of months. For people anyway, it has. You know, it's been brewing for a little while, but kind of mind-blowing the progress it's been making lately. But digital art has been around for decades, so why now? And I'm sure everybody here is very familiar with NFTs. You know, they represent something unique. So people are basically wrapping their minds around the association of these NFTs with art, and they feel like they're getting something that is different. So something unique. But it's just a certificate of ownership, and anyone can copy the art around. And a lot of people kind of don't understand that. And you know, I'm an older guy myself, older than just about everybody here, if not everybody. And talking to friends, they're like, I don't get it. And I'm just like, it's the future, don't worry about it. But I think there are ways to improve this. So, I mean, so what are people buying exactly? And it is really symbolic ownership. And I thought this article on Wired was pretty funny, how this was so bizarre that it either, it's so alien that it's either idiotic or ironic. And I think it's neither one of those things, but I do think it's a lot for people to wrap their minds around. I think there are a lot of crypto millionaires, fueling this frenzy, but the rest of the world is kind of looking on and being like, what the heck is going on? But what if the ownership was not just symbolic? So what if we had more than just this certificate of ownership? And that's what my idea is, to basically give you something exclusive. And it has all the benefits of regular NFTs, easy to sell, track ownership, smart contracts for royalties, things like that. But what we bring to the table is exclusivity. So only one person at a time would actually be able to view the image. So as an artist, you could have multiple versions floating out there. You could have a low-res version you post to Instagram, but then you protect the high-res version. You make it so only one person at a time can view that. And then that opens up a new monetization stream. So you could actually rent your art out, or you could, as a gallery, you could rent art rather than buying art. Have different, you could have different art shows, and just rent out art. So I think that's an interesting monetization stream that exists in the real world to a small degree, not a very, big world there, but it cannot exist in the digital world right now because it's so easy to just copy the art. So how does it work? Not quite ready to spill my guts on this yet, but we'll be doing a demo at the end of this hackathon that goes into depth on how we actually do this. It does involve a device, and we will be building a prototype on another device, but eventually we hope to manufacture a device. So yeah, but I believe we have come up with a way to guarantee that somebody has exclusive access to a piece of art. So I'm Chris Saline. I've founded a number of startups. I'm new to the crypto space, but had some modest successes over the years. I've got a creative agency that my cousin runs that's very heavy behind this. Got a developer, and then I've got Ari Tomasin and Dari Olfsson that are helping as well. They've kind of been around the community, and I've been talking with them a lot, and they've been helping me formulate product strategy and go-to-market strategy. But we're looking for other people that are interested to get involved. We've gone from 0 to kind of what you see here in just a few weeks. Not a lot of coding substance behind it yet, but we're going to accelerate that now. And if you want to help out, please, let me know. We're looking for collaborators. So looking for cryptography experts, Arweave DApp developers, anybody that's really interested in Arweave and wants to pitch in, we'll try to get you involved. So hit me up. Thanks. I'm Dumbfounder on Discord, and you can email me, chris@darkblock.io. Any questions? So that's it.
Very good. Thank you. Very good. Punk, I'm going to have you up now, and then 40. If your audio is working, then we'll have you up at the end there, and then we'll do some Q&A and some mingling. So Punk, if you're able to come up on the stage now, Ruddlys Punk. Perfect. Let me get the spotlight on you. Okay, you're now being spotlighted and you're able to present.
Thank you, Jesse. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
That's great. Okay, let's do some sharing. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much. Before I begin, I just want to quickly say thank you to Sam and the entire Arweave team for giving me this opportunity. This is This is great. The stuff that's coming out is just, it's really cool. Dumbfounded, man. Like, honestly, just what you just showed there, it's insane, because I'm working on something that I think is pretty similar to that. So it's fascinating. Okay, so today I want to showcase Ruddlys. So Ruddlys is an exclusive digital art auction house, marketplace, and private digital art sale. So think of, I guess, Christie's for the NFT space, for the blockchain space. That is what we're trying to go for. So at the moment is me and two other people who've been helping me put all this together. One of them is Phil. I think you all know him. And the other person is Lilicus. She's in here somewhere. So thank you to both of you guys. And again, also thanks to Jesse as well. Jesse did an amazing job of onboarding me and just bearing with me and stuff. So anyway, here we go. So right now, Ruddlys is trying to solve essentially two major problems. We're trying to solve the problem of authenticity in the NFT art space. And recently there was this thing that happened on OpenSea where an artist essentially changed the images to like images of carpets and rugs and stuff like that. Now, we can already solve this problem just being on Arweave, right? It's permanent. You can't take it down. So that's solved already. But this is the one that's going to be interesting for us, and this is what I want to showcase today. Now, there's two ways that we can solve this problem, or that Ruddlys is trying to solve this problem. First of all is the way that we onboard artists on Ruddlys. It's going to be a community effort. So the community will vote on which artist comes onto Ruddlys. And once they're there, the actual artwork itself cannot be public. And we can do this by doing a simple, tiny AI search to make sure that the artwork is not available anywhere on the internet. This is very important, and this is what makes Ruddlys different from all the other NFT auction houses and things like that. And I'll do a demonstration in a little while. Now, for an art collector and artist to get on Ruddlys, they would need what's called a vault account. So the vault is essentially where the artists mint their artwork, and also where the collectors collect their artwork and then show it off to their friends. Because obviously when someone buys an artwork for 69 million, for example, you want to show it off to your friends. You want to flex. So this is the place where the collectors can come and flex their artwork. So let's log into the platform, and I'll show you around. There we go. So now we're in the vault. So when an artist wants to upload their artwork, they'll first need to create a gallery, or essentially a folder. So Ruddlys will be connected to ArDrive. So once you create your folder, it creates a folder immediately on ArDrive, so that when you do upload your artwork, it ends up onto the folder already. So an example of some of the artworks that have been uploaded is similar to this. So we've got one here, interesting piece of artwork that I've done called The Devil's Assassin in Versace. So you can get information regarding the resolution, the image file, etc. Right? So once you upload your artwork here, you then go to the Ruddlys platform to bid on it. So right now we've got some live auctions happening at the minute. One of it is this one, which is what I just showed now. So if we click on it, we'll be able to see some parameters there. So here we go. So we can see that the auction is live for that piece of artwork. Oh, hang on, something's happening. I've seen something flashing. I think we've got some people having fun with the auction already. So you can get some information here as to the size of the artwork, the format, etc. And you get some bid history here. We've got NFT Collector and Lady Crypto having a go at it. So essentially what we've tried to create here is something that solves two things. authenticity and permanence. So right now, Ruddlys is centralized, so all the images are going on a central server. So essentially what I'm looking for is to have a team together that can port this onto the Arweave network. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just people can reach me out at punk@ruddlys.com. And yeah, let's make this happen. Thank you very much.
Nice. Yeah, I think that should be fairly easy to port. I don't see anything.
Awesome.
Like we were saying on the last week, yeah, like basically all of the architectures that you can use to build Web 2 applications now can be fairly easily ported to Arweave, as long as you know the right techniques. So yeah, ping me if you have any questions about that. I'd be more than happy to give some input if you like.
Awesome.
Very cool project. Nice.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. All right, next we're gonna have up 40. This is the last presentation of the night, and then we're gonna do some like Q&A and mingling. So 40, if you're able to come up on stage, hopefully you got your audio working and everything. I'm gonna throw. Oh, nice. Okay, I can hear you. Okay. Yeah, I think everyone else can hear you.
Okay.
All good. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and share your screen whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right, so I've got quite a short presentation. One sec, let me just hide this. So hello everyone. Yeah, I've got quite a short presentation, to be honest. I'll probably do a lot of the talking through it. So I guess maybe to start with, like, where the motivation came from. So last year or so, I was kind of in the same place as a lot of other people. I got put on furlough, and then I just kind of like started doing all of these learning courses, and like I thought, oh, these are great, but I was kind of like paying £40 a month or something like that, for each of these things. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great, to have something else where it would be possible to be paid as someone trying to learn for a particular job. So I was kind of gathering all of these I guess job descriptions and then bundling them together and just trying to pull out something comprehensible to say, okay, if I want to go for this particular job, I'll kind of, these are the things that I'll learn. If I want to go for this kind of role or in this kind of company, these are the things that I'll learn. So yeah, that was kind of the motivation behind it. I thought Decentralearn. I've been trying to look for the .learn domain. I don't know if it's possible, but yeah, I thought it was quite a fitting name. Until kind of speaking to some people doing this, actually, I believe that it was one of the first kind of decentralized learning platforms. Hopefully, but yeah, I spoke to Lucky before, and with his great idea actually. So let me know that I was kind of on the right track. So yeah, at the moment it's just myself and another friend. He's building this, so he is just my kind of go-to person for anything computing. But yeah, I guess to kind of go around the main idea, but basically it was to try and get learners to be incentivized whilst learning. So I noticed that over the past few months as well, we've had kind of a huge influx in the space of like everything DeFi and everything that's all about kind of making money essentially. And I thought, that's great, but we still might not have that potential of learning and like learning whilst making money. So like I probably joined multiple different platforms, and maybe I learned how to trade, for example, in the past few months, but nothing that was kind of, I guess, tangible in a sense of like helping me go towards my goal. So yeah, my kind of idea was that crypto foundations or organizations would essentially allow us to build out these kind of learning paths specifically for Web3 and crypto jobs. And they would put kind of like, I guess they would kind of put something up. Like, let's say they had like a sort of side project that they wanted they wanted the company to do, but they kind of didn't have the time or they didn't have the expertise. So they would put these projects up, and essentially, but when a job is kind of up for them, and then essentially a user or a learner would come and kind of pick these up and say, oh, that's a great project, that will help me get towards, you know, like this particular role. And in doing that, they, you know, the learner would pay a small amount to get onto the platform, but essentially they would kind of earn from completing this learning pathway. And if it was specifically for a job, then they could have kind of like a chat open up with the company or organization, so that it kind of gives that gamification of learning as well, so that people are kind of incentivized to, you know, do the material and do it well. Something that I guess popped up earlier, which I heard of, but I still need to research a bit more, was I think Sam said the Koi protocol, which I really liked the idea of, you know, the idea of incentivizing attention. And I think that's maybe something that could kind of get added. But yeah, my recent milestones, so I spoke with, after doing some research, I saw that Figment was kind of doing this in particular, where they were, where people would go onto the platform and they would kind of use some of the node infrastructure through Data Hub, or for new foundations, so like Secret Foundation. I don't know if NewCypher had one, but I know Near had one. So I spoke with Yannick, and he had some good ideas about kind of what a good direction might be. I started developing the platform, and then because it's all kind of learning for me, I've done some front end, some back end stuff, but I'm not an expert, so I was kind of thrashing away at things, and then yeah, I wasn't that happy, so I've kind of started again. But yeah, and then yeah, this kind of feedback helped me a bit with like mapping up the reason of interest of why companies might be interested. So I believe that they could be interested by having these projects, or, you know, these applications, or, you know, as we've kind of said already, like a something that isn't built, but they kind of want it to be built on there. You learners could pick that up and essentially be better placed to get their job. Yeah, one of the other things that is kind of been ruminating through my head quite a lot was the idea of profit sharing. So, you know, if the learners pay a small fee, and to try and attract like developers, the current developers on it, current developers, maybe they've got an idea, and every kind of idea that they're able to put or contribute to the platform, I guess, either specifically from those companies or independent developers, then they would kind of be incentivized to do so as well. So it would, I guess, hopefully enable learners to be incentivized to use it, and then on the other side, developers and organizations, you know, it would be within their best interest to put material onto it. So yeah, I'm just, at the moment, as I said, I've been just kind of building the platform. I built something, wasn't very happy, so I'm building again. But yeah, I would just really, at the moment, I'd really like any kind of feedback, and just kind of talking through things a bit more, just so I can get everything a bit more concrete, kind of understanding the profit sharing tokens a bit more. And yeah, you know, just if anyone wants to reach out, I'm on the Discord as well. So
awesome. Wow, that's amazing. It's a great idea. I have a lot of thoughts on how we could do mechanism design for this if you want, how to structure the token, that kind of stuff. Yeah, more than happy to help.
Oh, that'd be great. Cool.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Of course, it's a really nice idea. I think this is something that we might use, for example. Like, we're basically putting together this syllabus of things that we think all Web3 founders should know, and it seems pretty obvious that you should just be able to run through it like a course offline, I guess.
Oh, nice. Cool. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for coming.
So I was thinking we were going to do a Q&A, but since we're a little running over time, I was thinking it might just make sense for everybody to just go to the lounge and we can kind of mingle. I have like tables set up of everybody the 5 guys who just presented, and also ArGo that are labeled that you guys can, sit at. And if anyone has questions for you guys, they can just come up and talk to you guys, especially if people want to collaborate or work with you guys. Yeah, and then Sam, Zach, you guys are going to be in the lounge too. So if anyone has any questions for them, feel free to just mingle. Do whatever you guys want. I'm not going to hold you to anything.
Can you give me directions to the lounge? Since
everybody can follow. Everybody can follow me. It is labeled.
All right.
Everybody can
you go down the hall. You keep on going. There's the lounge.